So there you have it. We have just statistically done analyzing, and despite the fact that the Constitution of the United States clearly states that no one shall stand and remove these items from the books, or they shall be immediately put to death. Immediately, you're convicted of treason. You're not even allowed to stand or remove these. We've decided this in stone. And what do we have? We have an entire series of systems where a bunch of people get together and they've decided that they're immune, that they can infringe as many ways as they can conceive respective to people's constitutional rights. And that no matter the findings, no matter the intent on the findings, if the people are socialist or communist and they want to take the guns away and they want to undermine the United States and they're involved in additional acts of violations of the Constitution, no matter what goes on, there is no mindset to address accountability whatsoever. None. Zero. This is a very serious problem to sit there and have to deal with that and understand that these people have no basically respect for the law. It's a serious understanding. To sit there and have to deal with how we're going to be able to address these types of situations. Because this is a big one. It's a really big one. No intent whatsoever for these people to evaluate whether or not any form of criminal act occurred or criminal mindsets, or whether they're involved in any other sabotage of the Constitution. So they just bow their neck and say, it's been decided you're a criminal, you go to prison. Okay, 100,000 years of false imprisonment. Versus the understanding of, well, wait a minute, shouldn't this be an equalization? Shouldn't this be some kind of relative percentage of an equalization? I mean, the Constitution's clear. It's very clear. This is something that's like, yeah, it's very clear. It's clear to the point where it says, yeah, if you want to remove these things from the books and infringe on people's gun rights, for instance, you're to be immediately put to death. This is not a game. There's a problem here. We have these people that all of a sudden they think they're kings. Or kings, or what? What do they think they are? Dictators? What do they think they are? They're members of the Communist Party. They've constructed a specialized party system that is an illegal caste system. Again, the Constitution addresses that as well. It's illegal. This is a serious problem because long-term analysis now shows us that there is a vast conspiracy of a certain series of people to say, oh no, we can't be punished, when a larger majority number of people are saying, no, you can't do that. This is what the Constitution says. So what do we do here? What do we do here when we would have to sit there and say, okay, let's be reasonable. Let's put this on the table here. Let's evaluate this. It's on the tactical table. Let's do an intensive. Okay, what are the mindset? What are the laws of some of these people participated in that are screwed up or illegal? There's a series of records that come out, a structure that comes out respective to people. You have things like, oh, well, these people fly to foreign countries and go to lectures for the Communist Party. These people accept money from the Communist Party for their elections. These people accept foreign money. All this stuff goes on. And you have to, at a certain point, say, wait a minute. We have massive overlapping laws repeatedly showing that there's something wrong with these people. They have very serious intent, criminal intent, And they're not even maintaining statistics of how many years of false imprisonment has occurred. Why not? I put it to you, plain and simple. Why wouldn't you keep statistics to understand how many hours, days, years of false imprisonment has occurred? Because the mindset of many of these people is that they go back to them. They're like, straight out, there's all these communications, and people testify. Yeah, they told us to meet up. We're going to go back to the drawing board, and they're going to find ways to deliberately circumvent the Constitution. Circumvent. The different series of words that these people use indicate that they are deliberately trying to destabilize the Constitution of the United States. They are deliberately trying to attack certain sectors of political factions. Deliberately. There's no excuse for this kind of stuff. So when we have these people trying to destabilize the very concepts of law itself, we can't allow this. Because we end up having people infiltrating that are funded by foreign powers. Because we also have another factor here. In order to take many of these jobs, you have to swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States. It's a prerequisite. And then they violate it. So we have to address this. So when we're working with fairness and logic, with mass economic modeling, and we're working with economic criminology, there are certain formulas that evaluate things certain ways, and boom, instantly we have massive anomalies come up. And it's like, wait a minute, these people basically collectively have caused more than 100,000 years of false incarceration. 100,000 years of false incarceration. And we have all of these different messages that we've intercepted, in order to weed out some of these right-wing voters. We're going to make it illegal for them to have guns. Therefore, we can arrest many of these people that are participants, that are donating money. We can punish them. Yeah, we can punish them and give them gun charges. We'll steal their assets, and we'll accuse them of being a criminal for having the assets to begin with. This is what some of these people are doing. And you repeatedly keep recovering the mindsets. These people, we have people, their mindset is, we're just going to get a whole lot of people. We're going to get a lot of people together. We're going to go uptown, and we're going to jack the rich people. This is way beyond just saying a tax and spend problem. This is an out-and-out mugging, an out-and-out crime that these people are doing repeatedly. And they just keep widening and widening and widening the areas, widening the scope of their attacking area. And with mass economic modeling, we have this thing. Economic criminology keeps pointing out what these people are doing wrong, how they're destroying people's lives. And we have no accountability. These people are saying, well, they're immune from it. No, that's not what the Constitution says. The Constitution says if you violate these certain things, it's a mandatory death penalty. That was put there to begin with so that nobody would violate it. Because the tactical table experiments of our forefathers revealed that opposing parties that would try to destabilize us would do certain things tactically on the tactical table. And among them, these certain things would be obvious. Therefore, we have to protect. We have no choice. None. From a mathematical formula set, but to say, no, you can't do those things. If you do those things, it's a death penalty. We're going to kill you. There's a reason for this. Extreme tactical table experiments. bring us to be able to have these conclusions. You got to remember, we're on Constitution number 5. This Constitution is not the first rodeo. There's been a lot of refinement. Prior to the Constitution, we have previous laws that also have to be respected. Previous rights and laws. People says, yes, we have the right to have our own militia privately. We have the right to have our own courts privately. We have the right to keep and bear arms. These things have to be endorsed, even though we're getting together and saying, well, we want to build a permanent large militia. Why? Well, we kept hiring different people with extreme skill sets to help us with the revolution. We clearly realized that we need to build a more professional, permanent system in place. This is logical. So, under no circumstances are we sacrificing any of our rights. It's we the people with our private militias and our private courts that have been keeping stability and fought for bringing forth and birthing the country. And this is something people are missing. They think that the Constitution is that's it. That's the whole thing. No, it's part of it. The Constitution endorses our ongoing, continuing rights to keep and bear arms, our rights to continue militias. There's you can find paperwork where paperwork is sent into a representative. Some of the first representatives. Oh, we've got new members in our militia. Here you go. Here's their names. You can meet them. Oh, by the way, we need this equipment. Would you please outfit them with firearms? So it's a federal thing. Firearms are supposed to be free for private militias. You go read the documents. People keep missing this. We had a part where we had the, War of 1812. We were concerned about certain northern Indians siding with the British. Therefore, we decided that we had to pass a temporary law that says temporarily we're going to ban the sale of grenades and bombs and other munitions from being purchased by Northern East American Indians. It didn't even include Central Indians or Western Indians or only those certain border north areas. And keep in mind, it's only temporary. Again, it's only temporary. So this means that only temporarily would these Indians not be able to buy bombs, grenades, and these other munitions. So people are asking, what are we entitled to have? Well, it's blatantly clear that Congress states what we are entitled to. How much anatomy, we can sit there and dissect this. So if we dissect it, how much dissecting can we do to say, yeah, you're entitled to always, as an American citizen, you're entitled to have bombs and grenades and be able to buy and sell them freely. There are no regulations. The whole law says, well, only temporarily and only this certain area of Indians in these certain areas. And there's the other munitions as well. And you have repeated historical understanding of these items, yet you don't see them being brought up in many of these gun arguments. And it's crucially important to understand that, historically, our forefathers would not have tolerated many of these types of people that are trying to make new laws as they step up and they're going to be socialist. First of all, they're not loyal to the Constitution of the United States. So there's no surprise. Is there a surprise? They say, well, we're socialist. We believe in going uptown and jacking rich folks endlessly. We don't want to create stimulus. We don't want to create new hard assets. We don't want to make sure that people have jobs, being able to perpetuate their own labor, being bankable to continuously build new hard assets, which of course would bring new solidity that we could print currency against. See, that would be logical. That makes sense. That'd be part of the original system. No, that's not what they're doing. they're saying, oh, we only want to destabilize. Everything has to equate out into a different form of mathematics where we're also going to destabilize people. It has to be that way. We have to destabilize people. We're going to go uptown and jack these rich people and put a 10, 15, 20, 25% tax. We're going to destabilize them by that percentage. We're going to punish them. Yeah, we're going to punish them. We're going to take the money. We're going to take the money and we're going to hand it out. See, then there'll be plenty of money for booze. Some of you can go out and buy some nice boots. Get some good threads. This is not asking people to participate in upgrading the community. That's completely different. Completely. This is straight out. We're not going to talk about asking if people will participate in upgrading the community. No, we're just going to step up and use, straight out, we're going to jack you. Wow. I mean, wow. How much longer can we allow the determination in language? Language is a mathematical thing. And when you're building these mass tactical tables, the economic criminology portions are coming out. Boop. Boop, another red pop-up, boop, another red pop-up, boop, another red pop-up, boop, another red pop-up. Keeps finding these things wrong. And says, well, these people don't care. They're diabolically opposed to the Constitution. How can you be a candidate running for office where you're required to swear an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution? So you have to protect it and uphold it. So you can't destabilize it by making any laws that are going to turn people instantly into criminals just because they own a firearm. That doesn't make any sense. And then upholding it is utilizing. See, in order to promote financial wellness and environments, we were creating this Constitution. This new system of blended government to have a republic and blend it in as though it's an East Indies company. It's a corporation. It's a land company. We're all entitled to stock and all this other stuff. These people are omitting all of these original historical facts. So they're running around destroying stuff. It's amazing. So we have a bunch of people running for office. They don't have a clue how to do stimulus. Not a clue. Their entire plan is actually, we're going to go uptown and jack the rich folks. We can no longer keep looking at these red pop-ups coming up. Boop, red pop-ups coming up. Boop, red pop-ups coming up. Saying, yeah, we've got a whole series of reasons to believe that these people are not consistent. Someone says, well, that's ridiculous. There's a vast sum of them. Guaranteed beyond the shadow of a doubt, between 0 and something, there has to be also something. So if you said between 0 and fair, in between would be something, right? It has to be something. Therefore, there's definitely a percentage of these people who are criminals, who are not loyal to the Constitution of the United States. So we have to prosecute them. We have to deal with this. Now, a lot of the original things in the Constitution, believe it or not, deal with accusing people of treason and putting them to death. That's a process. I don't think some people understand what that process is. The process is you're tried. Most of your assets are usually seized. It's like a RICO investigation. They'll seize everything. And then what usually happens is people get convicted. They get fined. And they take all their assets away. They take their citizenship away. This is a treason trial. It goes in all these different stages. They take everything away from you, including your citizenship. And then the last area is the death penalty. And in some cases, we have people where They said, okay, well, we've taken everything away from these people. We've ruined their reputation. We've taken their lands, their retirements, all their monies from the bank. They have nothing left. No, not even being a citizen. They're black marked from ever participating in anything. Oh, let's go ahead, and what happens is there's this little area where it's a separate vote, and that's how many bullets go into the gun. Yeah, there's a guy who does that too, by the way. How many bullets go into the gun? So, is it all bullets? Is it one bullet, the rest are blanks? Is it two bullets and the rest are blanks? This is what happens. So they'll sit there and sometimes say, okay, technically I think all of this is enough. Maybe this person, maybe whatever it is, they could be a hopeless alcoholic that's pathetic, So they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, okay, you're convicted of all this. We've stripped you of everything. You can't vote or hold office or anything. So they send you out there on the fire. They don't tell you either. You go through the process. It's a firing squad, and it says aim, fire, click. And usually, what happens is a guy'd walk up to you and say, "Here you go. Welcome to rest." Set down a bottle of booze and say, "Welcome to the rest of your life." That's it. You get to run around and bum change for booze. That's about it. You're banned from citizenship or owning anything or working in virtually any other field and this. And the guy turns around, grabs the firing squad, and they march back in. This is part of the process. This is how, in many cases, we decide not to kill somebody at the end because we're like, yeah, we've done enough. But meanwhile, they lose everything: their businesses, their bank accounts, their estates, their wealth, everything. Their citizenship. They're a person technically without a country. But nonetheless, they're still here. They're still here. They're still real. But it's now understood who they are. It's like way back in time they used to have things, God said we should mark their forehead, and they'd mark people's forehead. So you could, have a very unattractive mark in your head. And that would be from God, so to speak. Yes, God's putting unattractive symbols on your head. Yes, you're being punished and blacklisted. Okay, so there we go. You have to do the math on this and say, how is it that there is no statistical tracking records? Somebody's decided that the figure must be 0. What is this? Is that criminal intent? Is that criminal intent? Is this self-evaluation? We have massive criminal intent repeatedly discovered here. We have to step in immediately and do something about it because we have to protect the Constitution of the United States.